Alright, it's my lunch break. It is what it is. I just wanted to get on here real quick and talk about Hyuna and Edon because the next couple days I'm going to be extremely busy, so I wasn't going to have a chance to talk about it. But, you know, Cube. Let's talk about Cube for just a hot second. Cube Entertainment really hasn't been the same since the Chinese takeover. And I'm not saying that there's anything against Chinese people. Just to put that out there. I'm talking about their company was taken over by a Chinese conglomerate, and it hasn't been the same since. The whole thing with Hyunseung being kind of kicked out of Beast, and then the remainder of Highlight being kicked off the label, and Cube registering the name so they can't use the name anymore, and then announcing that Hyunseung was going to be added with 2 more members and create the new Beast, and how his whole career has been completely mismanaged. The completely silly, weird way they tried to roll out CLC, and how they'll get a good song here and then totally change concept, and then get a bad song here, totally change concept, get a mediocre song here, totally change concept, get a good song here, totally change concept. There have been so many missteps with Cube over the last few years, as the vision, I think, that was in Cube got lost. Probably one of the most heartbreaking moments for me as Cube's vision got lost was the breakup For a Minute, because I really liked their last 2 songs. I thought their last 2 comebacks were really, really phenomenal, and they built my interest in For a Minute where I didn't have an interest in For a Minute before. But, you know, Hyuna was still there, and I think Hyuna's presence on the label for a lot of people let them remain in a position of having faith in Cube, because they're like, okay, well, the whole Beast thing didn't really work out, the Beast Highlight situation, and Hyunseung's been dealing with his own issues since his dad died and other things going on. So, you know, but Hyuna's still there, and she's been there from the beginning, and if she's willing to give this new management a chance, the rest of us can do it too. Maybe it's just growing pains, things will get better. And in the last year, things have gotten better. In fact, I would say in the last few months, things have gotten better. Hyuna continued to thrive, continued to make singles that people really appreciate. Pentagon finally had a hit, and so they were on an upward trajectory. CLC was still struggling, but people liked Black Dress, and then G-Idol came out with La Ta Ta, and it was like, yes, Cube has got a new girl group, we're so happy. It really looked good. And then the rumors about Edon and Hyuna, and Cube does what they have been doing lately. They issue a statement saying they're not dating, not checking with the artist, not checking with maybe a competent PR team about how to address, but just flat out saying, no, this is lies, it's not true, they're not dating. Then Hyuna acknowledges that they're dating, and this is where I feel bad, because I'm gonna say this. Hyuna has a fan base that can accept her dating. Her partner does not. And when you're in a relationship with somebody, you have to kind of look outside of yourself and say, what can I do that's in the best interest of both of us? So if the record label didn't want to acknowledge the relationship, but you knew there were maybe pictures, or it was going to be continuing to be an issue that would have to be sorted out eventually, I think there was another way that you could have done this. But to say, no, not only are we dating, but we've been dating for 2, almost 3 years. The label, to save their face, is going to spin this as they lied to us, even though probably really and truly they never talked to the artist, because Cube has a history of not consulting their artists before making announcements. But they made it look like Hyuna and Edon kept these secrets. It made it look like Hyuna and Edon were deceitful and untrustworthy, and then to pull Edon out of Pentagon's promotions while still using his songs, mind you, but pull him out of the group for their next comeback, pull him out of performances, pull him out of the Japanese releases. All that done, and now here we are, and they have announced last night that Hyuna and Edon are kicked out of Cube. And it is a major, major misstep. The stock price has been dipping. It hasn't gone completely low. It's definitely not its lowest it's ever been. It's actually still pretty decent. But The stock price has been low. International fans are completely outraged. Everybody's like, what the fuck? Because again, during all the tumultuous kind of getting to know the new Cube under the Chinese conglomerate, we looked at Hyuna as kind of like the anchor, the stable center of that label. It was her and B2B, honestly. That's it. Nobody else. And for Cube to just throw it away like that relationship hadn't been built up over time, like Hyuna wasn't the Boa of Cube. Just like SM might not always give Boa the best promotions, but she still gets promotions because SM will always be grateful to Boa for what she's done. For Cube to toss Hyuna out to the wolves the way that they did and level all the blame on her and Edon and make it seem like they're terrible people. She wasn't a terrible person for the last 9-10 years you've been dealing with her, but all of a sudden she's a terrible person. It is the lowest of the low. It is the most scumbaggy move to make, and I feel terrible because it's just like, I'm sure if you're on that label and you're in a rather fresh contract, you're probably like, the fuck am I doing here? Like, when are they gonna toss me out? There's no security. It lets you know that your company can turn on you at any moment. If you didn't know it before, now you know. And it's just a terrible look. And I think Cube has found out it's a terrible look because they have since changed their stance and said that nothing's final, we're still negotiating, whatever. I don't believe it. I think it's to save face, and then it's going to be, we've all agreed that we're going to part ways. Probably what's going to happen is Cube is going to bring Hyuna and Edon into a room, because from what I heard, Hyuna and Edon found out over the internet that they had been kicked off of Cube. They're probably going to take them to a room, and they're probably have to renegotiate their contracts. Not to keep them on Cube, but to figure out what the buyout will be, because it's different if the artist leaves their contract, they owe the company. If the company terminates the contract, especially with Edon having writing credits on Pentagon's latest release, there's some negotiation there about how to pay off the contract, what's left on the contract. Just also whether or not the reasons why they were dismissed were reasons that the company doesn't have any obligation towards the artist. So there's probably going to be some kind of settlement talk between Edon and Hyuna. How it's going to come out, I can't really say, but that's probably what these leftover negotiations are. But don't be fooled. There's no way that Hyuna and Edon are coming back to the company. They can't come back to the company at this point. You can't make the declaration that an artist is off your label and then turn around and say, no, we were just kidding, they're back on, we just had some negotiation issues to get out of. Because the statement they put out was so slanderous, was so just aggressive in saying these are bad people and we got rid of bad people, that you can't go back and say, oh, that was a misunderstanding, it was taken out of context. No, it is what it is. And the only thing Cube can do at this point is have Hyuna and Edon release a statement saying, after negotiations with the company, we've agreed to part ways. That's all they can hope for at this point. That's all they can hope for. And, you know, Hyuna, I hope that she's able to find another label that can promote her in a way that is in keeping with her brand, but at the same time maybe offers something different, offers her a growth opportunity to let her become the kind of legend that Jung-hwa is. Edon, for him, I see everything changing. Like, everything. I think I said this before, but I saw Edon kind of going away from idolhood and going into like solo stardom, maybe on the K-hip-hop scene, but like really taking it underground for a while. And I think it'd be great for him. I think he deserves a career resurgence. I had made a statement actually in one of my videos maybe a week or so ago. I cannot remember. No, it wasn't in the video. It was in the comment section of one of my videos where I talked about Hyuna and Edon, and I wrote to somebody and said, you know, after thinking about it some more, maybe this was something that Hyuna and Edon did to get Edon off of Cube, to get them to break his contract. And it looks like that's what's happening in terms of Cube's actions at this point, but I don't know how intentional it would have been on Hyuna and Edon's side to like go against the company to get out of their contracts. But yeah, this whole situation is just a fucking mess, and Cube should be ashamed of themselves. But I will end with this. There are a lot of people I saw who said that they are not going to support Cube for anything, which means they're not going to be supporting G-Idol, they're not going to be supporting Pentagon, they're not going to give Cube any more of their money. I can't tell you what to do. I really, really can't. But Pentagon still got trainee costs to pay off. So does G-Idol. I don't think it's fair that they should be punished for the actions of their label. Now, I've done that before, so, you know, this is the pot calling the kettle black. I've avoided giving YG certain monies because I didn't agree with what they were doing. But if you still want to support the artist, but maybe not directly, what I recommend doing is buying secondhand. Like, if you can, buy albums off the secondary market. That way you still have the album in your possession, the person who did pay for it gets reimbursed, and then you're not maybe giving your money directly to the artist. Or, you know, if you're gonna stream on platforms where, you know, you don't have to pay very much to stream. That way Cube's getting some money, but they're not getting vast amounts of money from you. They're just getting pennies on the dollar for that. But the numbers still look good, and it still makes the idol look popular. You know, find ways to support, but maybe doing, you know, support that doesn't equate to a whole bunch of money for Cube. But I don't know. These groups are so young that they really need all the support they can get. That way they can get away from Cube. Like, that's the main thing. Is, I know you don't want to spend the money, but if Pentagon doesn't make enough money, then they're in their contract until their contract is over. And even then, they're probably going to owe money to Cube for all the promotions. Whereas if they can make enough money to where the time comes for them to break their contract and they've already paid off all of their trainee money and everything else, then they can break free and do what they want to do. I mean, that's the thing with Highlight. When Highlight left Cube, they didn't owe Cube shit. They had paid off their debts way, way long ago. So all they had to do was leave. And it wouldn't be the same for Pentagon, because they would have to find another company that was willing to carry their debt and support them in a comeback. And that's just too difficult to do. So just keep these things in mind when considering how you want to move from here on out. But I just wanted to come on here because, like I said, well, I don't know if I said it, but the next 2 days are going to be really busy for me. I'm going to Fort Worth to go see BTS with my daughter, and we got planning to do. So I'll be out of pocket for a minute, which sucks because today, not today, but this week is the first week of Secret Santa tag videos. I'm going to try to get one done before I leave town. I can't promise anything, but yeah, we'll see what happens. But, you know, keep your head up, Hyuna. Keep your head up, Edon. You know, there's always more opportunities around the corner, especially when you're a talented, sincere, honest person. And so just don't give up. Don't feel hopeless. Cube's going to get what they get. Trust. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.